Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the MTGPL Invitational. I'm the new commentator. I am Dr. Leo, and I'm here joined with my good buddy, the eternally surprised Severin. How you doing, my friend?
Fine, fine. We had a fun round one, I think, and have seen some incredible magic. And then again, Anne just being
Yeah,
unfortunate with the matchup, I guess.
yeah.
Doomsday is the one deck you hope the others eliminate before you get to play them. Um, but we're in for a blast now, for sure. I think we have
Oh
the
yeah.
two fastest decks um, we featured tonight by far. Um, Malfi has been one of the regulars since ever I joined the server, like nearly 2 years ago, and has been crushing it with a bunch of very, very different decks. And one of them is Madness, or Madvine as he calls it. Um,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So
It's one of these decks that just got back into existence, or like got into existence basically after Modern Horizons 2 just got them 4 more root dwellers.
yeah, so this deck is ridiculously fast. So I've seen the development of this deck since it's come across, and it has been one of my favorite decks to watch in the new meta. Of this deck is really leverages the advantage, mind you, the advantage of discarding your hand from Lion's Eye Diamond. And so because you just empty your hand, slam madness, turn threat sideways, and I think the entire plan for this is just go fast. Like especially with Doomsday having your life total, this is a time when you just need to just lay everything onto the board and just turn things sideways. But I'm really excited to just watch like Magic and just see this invitational. So for those who haven't joined us before, this is the MTGPL Invitational. These are the top players in the Discord who've been competing over the last 3 months, different points, and yeah, it's a really good time. So thank you all for joining us and being here with us today. Uh, Oliver brought it up. You play a bit of Doomsday yourself. Where do you think, Hank, when it comes to Doomsday? How afraid of you are you just being blistered down in this deck in this matchup?
I've played this matchup before, and I also played it against Malfi from a Doomsday side, and it's really scary. Like, one of your hopes always is variance, basically. That's one of the downsides of the Madness deck. It suffers from variance a lot. So on the other hand, like if you have explosive draws, you're just so quick, and pressuring Doomsday's life total makes up for a lot. However, in game one, I think it's like basically two ships passing in the night. There's no real interaction. We've had that said before. There's no burning inquiries, which are like the anti-combo hate card in some ways. Just make your opponent discard 3 cards at random. While it doesn't really matter for you what you discard, it definitely matters a lot for them.
Oh yeah, just randomly discarding your just 3 lands that you kept. Like, maybe you kept like 1 to 2 lands and then like a couple of cantrips to get you there and just like, oh yeah, just they're gone. Bye. Hoped you planned on random discard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that honestly, that's also the same reason why it kind of turns me off the deck. The randomness of it, like if anything tells me to like roll dice for damage in Magic, I'm just like, ugh, or like if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be playing 40k. Like I'm not gonna like put myself through like that type of randomness in this, but like I do think that it's specifically against the combo matchup. It is very powerful. Like being able to just say, "Hey, you can't plan out your turn," and that's massive for combo players.
I mean, one thing that has to be said here is um, Black Sky Dog is on the play, so Daze is a live card. I think that matters a lot. Like, Madness has to find a turn one enabler, like either Putrid Imp. LED is usually the best case scenario.
Mhm.
Maybe Faithless Looting, but Faithless Looting is let's say, probably the slowest option. So Daze is live on turn one potentially. And the other thing is you know where all your forces go.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. This is one of those decks. You force the first enabler. If you see Putrid Imp, you force it. If you see LED, you better force it. Like you have to do this. And like when it comes to the Madvine player, you don't care about days. You're just gonna play into it. You don't care because you're gonna try and vomit more than the days can be leveraged.
yeah, I mean, one thing, Black Sky Dog also has a bit more, let's say, interaction with Madwin than most current Doomsday lists with the four Baleful Strix. But on the other hand, Baleful Strix is not the best card against something like Gwenshrine that just comes back with haste on the next turn again.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
You know, I mean, it's not as busted as like let's say vintage, like the Saga, the Squeevine decks, or like any of like the bizarre combo decks where you get that repeated like basically drawing 3 cards a turn with Bizarre Baghdad. But when it
sometimes
comes
you have
to
your own Bazaar of Baghdad in the deck in
I
the form of Anti-Gravity.
exactly. That's what I was about to bring up to. Angie's Ravager does a very good comparison of Bazaar of Baghdad, being able to discard the cards that you end up just getting stuck in hand and drawing a fresh 3 every single time. So essentially, it does act like a Bazaar of Baghdad in Legacy, and it's insane. Uh,
So
I I think we might be good to be starting here. Yep. Blessed Dog is keeping 7. Malfi is keeping 6. And I do think, even with keeping 6, I do think that Malfi is favored on this because of the fact that like Malfi is just it's like so much faster. And this Blessed Dog is still in the play, correct?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. So in this case, I think I'm just like looking for either so with Blessed Duck, you have 2 different options here. You can either go like try to strict your way to surviving the early game, or you can try and go and like kill as fast as possible. And I think by this showing here, yeah, you're taking the LED. That thing is gone.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's literally any other legal targets because I think everything else had is madness or something else to do with the art. Okay, I thought there was not even a land in the deck in the hand for a second.
Yeah, that's also something. Being on the plane, having the discard spells available
Hmm.
is you see the hand Malfi kept, and it's huge. Like suddenly, it's all out of gas. And
Yeah,
okay, that's one card of the
yeah.
top. But
Playing
Malfi Root
Root playing a Root Walla for 1 mana is the worst thing this deck could be doing. Like honestly,
Color.
there's so many better 1 mana plays, and yeah, it looks like here, like we were talking about, Black Sky Dog did seem to go for the more controlling route, being able to buy time with Strix, be able to fix the hand, and I don't hate it, especially leading off on that LED, just completely neuter Malfi's hand.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
so I do love this because this is a conversation I get into all the time. Uh, when you have discard against a graveyard s deck that's like does like wants to do this sort of stuff like dredge or the Hollowvine deck or something like that. On the play, I do like keeping in graveyard, not graveyard hate, hand disruption going into game 1 and game 2 and game 3. Do you think something similar when
Yeah,
it
for
comes to
sure.
just like leveraging a hand disruption versus a graveyard based deck is what I'm talking about.
In this case, yes, for sure. I mean, Malfi needs some kind of enablers that are not graveyard based and face like faceless looting, lines that I'm in a putrid imp, and you can make them discard those cards. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Even Dredge back in the day really needs that breakthrough, and so because of that, I always like that. Ooh, okay, okay, we're seeing the Doomsday here, turn 3,
and also
off of the Lotus Petal.
keeping up blue mana, so I think Black Sky's just going for the win.
I think
Yeah,
this is win here. I do
playing
believe
as
this
Brainstorm.
is yeah. Black Sky has Brainstorm in hand. I
Yeah,
think the pile is it's like Brainstorm cycle. I
LED, LED
Yeah, I think
cycling
there's an
has about.
yeah, yeah, LED cycle or something like that.
Also, the
But the
banter going on. Malfi just asking, got me dead, and Black Sky therefore revealing the brainstorm, and Malfi just saying, I can make the pile for you.
I can make the pile for you. It's one of those things to see this and how Doomsday resolves. And so, back in the early days of Legacy, Doomsday players had to have like an entire spreadsheet combined with a flow chart on like what was based on board in order to win. And uh it's not nearly as bad as it was as back then. Like you can pretty much just do it with one extra mana floating.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah,
I mean, it's
Doomsday
not as
is one
bad.
of those decks that just basically came into real existence with the printing of Thassa's Oracle. And yeah, here we see that exactly. Edge of
Yeah.
Autumn and Street Wave. Well, it's just like Edge of Autumn, cast ideas and bound, draw. Probably like
GG's.
Pact of Negation, Lotus Petal.
That Thoughtseize, the game
Or,
was over as soon as that Thoughtseize resolved.
yeah, definitely.
Like
I mean,
that.
otherwise it would have been a completely different game. Just
Yeah.
especially with the Root Dweller off the top, it's just okay. Suddenly there's anger in the graveyard. You've got a mountain in play, and you got two Angie's Ravagers, Vengevine, and a Root Dweller swinging in on turn one, and you're basically nearly dead.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
don't even get to turn three.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and this is what I'm talking about because we're going to the into the next game, but we'll talk about Black Sky in a second. Let's talk about Malfi sideboard here. We got 3 Deafening Silence, Alpine Moon, Pyroblast, 2 Ancient Grudge, 2 Fairy Macabre, 2 Fury, 1 was that
Flaring Pain, Pauper Staple.
Flaring Pain. Damage can't be prevented this turn.
To attack against potential glacial chasms and Maze of Dread.
Ah, I like it. I
Yeah,
like it. That's solid tech. Array of Revelation and
Coffee Turret.
a Coffin Purge. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen this card as well. Malfi, old school player as well, so no wonder the old tech's coming into play here. So, okay, here's my belief in all of this. I actually believe that the only things that you bring in are possibly 2 Fury. Hey, oh no, you have 2 Firestorm in the main. And so all I'm thinking about is a way to clear Strix and just go as fast as possible. Because I don't think bringing in the Deafening Silence is where you're going to want to be because of the fact that like Black Sky Dogs is just going to play around
I think I disagree with you in this one. Um, the storms are coming out. I'm pretty sure about that.
it.
Deafening Silence has this big advantage of just slowing Doomsday down because you can't ritual into Doomsday or petal into Doomsday turn two. So and you're a quick deck, so you can win on turn two or turn three, and you're on the play. So bringing in all
Okay.
the Deafening Silences is probably a safe bet. I think what you can cut are maybe the Arcfiends. 3 mana is a
Yeah.
lot, and like the only creature you want to remove is Baleful Strix, and you're semi into removing Strix. Like where Vengevine comes back, you've got a bunch of creatures and a bit of a go wide strategy. Something that I might see coming out is of Ox of Agonas as well. That's a slow card for grindy matches, and you're definitely not grinding in there.
Yeah. You can cut 2 Archfiend, 1 Ox, and 2 Firestorm if you wanted to fit in the Pyroblast. I don't think I want Pyroblast in this though.
It's
I can
it's
see
another
the
one. It's another one of these cards that's just there to slow your opponent down. You
yeah,
just
I can
target every cantrip, everything you find.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like how much of this are you I mean to be fair, he has some very good cuts. Malfi has some very good cuts. In a normal sorry, in other lists of madness, I would say that um in another list of madness, I would say don't even bother with the blast. But like this, almost seems like you can play one to turn 2 turns off and still accrue that still fast speed. So yeah, I think it's going to see the 3 Deafening Silence and 2 Pyroblast coming in at least.
Yeah. Another interesting thing I just noticed is the one of Lotus Petal, which is kind of old dredge tech to play around days.
Uh,
Turn one, just
oh,
bring in the petal, cast a petal, and then resolve your turn one play on the draw against days.
And Tensai Doc got game 1, and it's the Shadow Grange Archfiend. I don't know. This sounds almost German, and maybe you can translate for me.
I don't think so.
Shadow Grange Archfiend. It's a 7 mana basically edict, and then you gain life, and it's madness for 3 and 8 life, like, which is pretty harsh. But when it comes to
Arne and Marit for sure.
So
also,
we do see
Murphy's on a mulligan to 5 that resolves the turn 1 Deafening Silence. Before that, he said, he can't keep a single LED with no lands against a counterspell deck.
Mm-hmm.
I know Chris has done that against me, and it didn't pay off. I counted the turn 1 LED, and then he was
every time
sitting there, going to natural discard to Dweller on turn 3, I guess.
Every time you can't just keep those hands. For those longtime members of the MTGPL, Rip Pie Boy, man, and he kept a no land hand with Tess, thinking that if you just rip the land, you get it. Okay, we see the gamble. Oh, getting dazed here.
Notably, the daze is pretty important here. Like it has a different dynamic with, especially with Deafening Silence in play, and like Scadoc just casting Ponders. He's still probably 2 turns, at least 2 turns away from casting Doomsday.
At least 2 turns, yeah. The daze is legitimately a time walk in this deck. You can't just like spew out petals and other fast mana to try and catch up. Okay, Faithless Looting. Ooh, we're okay. Force negation, pitching, force of will.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even mind that because of the fact that how many more cards are you going to be force of willing in this matchup?
Yeah, for sure. Also, Black Malfi just missing land drops and not having access to black mana for potential Putrid Imp. It's kind of like, okay, there's only one thing coming. Like, Faithless Looting on a Deafening Silence is the last spell for sure. So there's not like, okay, I bait out the Force of Will and then cast LED. So that's going to be at least 1 turn away.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see Black Guy getting able to posture up with the Strix, and LED has hit the field.
There's not only one LED deck in the top 8.
Daze this. Just commit to it. You are now the beatdown deck.
The thing is, what do you gamble here? Like, you get LED for 4 cards, 75%, but you can't cast reality in the same turn.
Yeah, you can't cast it.
Silence, so
I think in this case you can either go LED or Putrid Imp, and I don't mind Putrid Imp, but the thing is you need the land for it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and if you have the Putrid Imp in hand, you also can't really gamble for it because of a 50% chance you either discard the Imp or the land.
Let's see, we got 4 cards in hand. 25% chance of discarding whatever. So
yeah, it's like 2 cards you don't want to discard out of the 4.
Yeah, exactly. We got a 50-50 chance to hit something that's actually like important. So I'm really interested in seeing.
And we've got some more dice rolling.
Right. 6 reroll. 3.
Oh.
Putrid Imp hits the yard. Oof. Do you think that was possibly a gamble target?
I think it would have been the land then. Like, Putrid Imp
probably
wasn't, like, yeah. And he also Malfi not playing the land. I think he just gambled for LED.
Yeah, I think LED was probably the play here. Ooh, okay. Chain of Vapor.
Ooh, yeah. So
Dark Ritual. Okay, so do we have an extra land drop in hand? Do we get an LED on the field? Probably.
You can just Maxketok is not on a whole bunch of cyclers, so you.
Yeah, we got 2, 3 cyclers. Yeah, we haven't seen a street wraith yet, and boxes go down to 9. So you do have All right, chat. Hit me with the Doomsday pile. Oh, the Cardboard Live link is updated with deck lists. So hit me with what you think the Black Side Dog Doomsday pile is going to be. I think this is going to be a pass the turn pile. But it's entirely possible you go off here. I am too smooth
With
brain to play Doomsday.
with the LED in play, I don't think Black Skidog is gonna pass the turn. To be fair,
Yeah,
if you've got a cycle in hand, you just cycle, crack LED, cast ideas unbound, and win.
yeah, sure.
And there's nothing Malfi could potentially have to stop that. But
Yeah,
somehow
Malfi
Black Skidog
has.
saying, "Oops, I did sideboard that out." And having to rearrange the pile. So maybe it's about the street raves. That's something I could imagine he sideboarded out because the life loss matters a lot. And you often
Yeah,
can't afford to make a street wave pile. And also, yeah,
yeah.
taking quite a bunch of time compared to the other piles. Probably because he he realized he boarded cards out.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let's see. So we've got revealing Doomsday Edge of Autumn's in the deck in the exile pile. Leyline of the Void, really?
To stop the range
Vengevine,
mines and
yeah,
anger. Like,
Vengevines are the fastest thing. So we got Edge of Autumn. There's is there any Street Wraiths?
I don't
No.
I still think that's a card he boarded out, actually, to be honest.
Faithless Looting. How are we doing this here? Okay, so 2 mana on the next turn. Yeah, Malfi has to kill here.
Yeah, and that's what
Oh, that's possible.
this cuts two range mines and passes a
Okay.
turn. Okay, no
Street
enabler.
Wraith.
That's just one speed
Street
wave,
Wraith.
yeah. Second speed wave, so he didn't board these out. So maybe ideas inbound. Don't think. And just cast Oracle. And I don't
I
think there's
mean,
anything Malfi can do. Yeah, nothing.
yeah. I bet you there's a second Oracle in there.
And Black
Wow.
Sky just punches through.
Just wrapping up the upper bracket finals. Black Sky Doc is our upper bracket champion in this round, and Malfi is dropping down to the lower bracket. So we are now here. Black Sky Doc has just absolutely crushed this. Doomsday coming in and just putting a clinic on of why it's like one of the best decks in the hands of a capable pilot.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you've listened
this
to the if you've listened to the Everyday Eternal podcast, they just had an episode about basically also like legacy tier lists and stuff. And they said like Doomsday is this weird deck that just is super bad against the most played deck in the format, but just crushes everything else.
100%.
That's exactly what's happening here.
I am the Magic player that falls in the everything else the category. I play random blue piles of bullshit all the time, and Doomsday just goes cool. Underground Sea Dark Ritual Doomsday and force checks me immediately, and like 30, I'd say about 50% of the time I don't have it, and
Yeah.
it's just like cool, I'm dead. Yeah, it is one of those decks that can just worm its way through anything that it puts in front of it, and Black Side Dog is a perfect example of a pilot that can do that. So because of that, I do love watching this type of a matchup because it's very technical, it's very tight, and it's a good time to watch. But on a tier list, I wouldn't know where to put it. I'd probably overrate it because of the fact that it just beats me all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like a competent pilot of Doomsday, I think, still has a fair shot against a mediocre pilot on Delver. But the thing is, you have to become a good pilot of Doomsday first.
I 100% agree. It's so wild because you say that because anybody can pick up a Delver deck and just go and just understand. Oh, okay, I need to turn creature sideways and kill you. It's another thing when you go, okay, Doomsday, and your opponent just looks at you, goes resolve, and you go, shit, I don't know what I'm supposed to grab here. I need to pull 5 cards out of this entire 60 to be able to win, and I don't have like any sort of reference or be able to look at anything, it's a lot. So Doomsday is definitely an intimidating deck to be picked up to pick up. but it is also one of those decks that's like it's a perfect example of it pays out the reps you put in.
For sure. But now we're moving on to the next match. Camera's not entirely set up yet. We're still waiting for Arne's camera.
Oh,
Uh,
Malfi, you're great. Hey, no worries, homie. That's a hard matchup. You either have to kill him
yeah,
before he kills you, or like even then, like you can't give Doomsday anytime. Like it's a tough one, Malfi. Yeah, so Amaru versus Arn. So we got Blue Black Ninjas versus Depths. And I really like. I think I like the Depths matchup. I think that's a little bit more favorite in this because of the fact that Depths just has a historically very good blue matchup. But that being said, there's just so many fun tech pieces in ninjas that they're just little squiggly wormy bastards that just kind of get in there, and all of a sudden you realize like shit, I'm at 2 life. I'm like trying to hope that you don't kill me off of a Yuriko trigger.
yeah, for sure. And another thing that is important here is, especially Amaru took down game one, and one of the big advantages Ninjas has in game one that probably most other decks don't have besides 8 cast is you have colorless blockers. So the security step is not making sure that your Marid Lash connects, but with the rise of Urza Saga and 8 cast, now there's Tower in of the Magistrate. We've been talking about it before in the sideboard of the depth stack. Um, so suddenly Retrofitter Foundry and Ornithopter are not like this indomitable wall of jump blockers anymore. Um, Despite that, I think it's still staying an interesting game. Like ninjas can spiral out of control super quickly, and like if you play turn one Thopter, Changeling, connect with a ninja on turn two, draw 2 cards. For many decks, the game is basically over.
one Hundred
But
percent.
yeah, with
Yeah,
that,
I
yeah,
fully do. I fully agree, and you know, it's exactly what you were saying. You know, depths can do these things, and your removal doesn't line up. I mean, you have the one brazen borrower to get rid of it, but like, there's just so much play to this that I really like. And are we seeing a change in the outcast on one?
probably.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, here we
okay.
go.
This is like the sneakiest best ninja in the deck.
Also, props to Amaru for the choice of Swamp.
Yes.
I
Oh
know
my
you love
gosh.
it as well.
Oh yeah, we've had discussion about this type of swamp. I have an entire
Yeah,
foil playset over there in the other room. The flower swamp from, if I remember correctly, Onslaught uh,
yeah,
is just oh perfect. It's one of the few swamps that will actually take me away from my IPA basics.
yeah, definitely. And it looks like we're going for turn two ninja, I think.
Okay. Oh, what's that other basic?
Anin not having a green source yet, so might be banking on swords here. Yeah, here we go. Change out Outcast for Yoriko.
Yep. And we got swords. No
Yeah,
days. Oh wait, well, days protect.
I
Keyleth.
think if Amaru has multiple ninjas in hand, I think it's perfectly fine for him to just um, basically throw Yuriko under the bus. Your opponent's playing Caracas, so they can just bounce her indefinitely, kind of.
Yeah, Yuriko
Takes
is
a lot of
definitely one of the. Wait, is that a Tower of the Magistrate in the main?
No, we're in game two.
Oh, we're in game two. We're in game two. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I agree. I think that Yuriko is definitely your weakest ninja here. That's why I said changing the outcast is the best ninja in the deck. What's your opinion on the new Moon Circuit hack here? You've had some time with the ninjas deck in the past, so you have more of an opinion on it than me.
Mm, I actually haven't really played Ninja since Modern Horizons 2. I think the deck took a huge blow in several ways. Like Control X playing Prismatic Ending now suddenly means they have a main deck answer for Retrofitter Foundry, and usually that was just your main game plan against all the control decks because they just couldn't answer it game one. And also out of the board, like if you're unlucky, they have like 2 cards against artifacts, or had like 2 cards against artifacts, and now they have 4 in the main deck plus at least two meltdown like complete blowout cards. Plus, there's more and more blast for your actual ninjas. So before that, it's like okay, you have like maybe two abrupt decays, some swords, and now suddenly you're facing 4 swords, 4 prismatic ending, 2 meltdown, and 5 red blasts. So there's just so much more removal out of the blue decks, especially. Um, but besides that, I think it's still a deck that can just if its game plan works and you get to connect with ninjas once or twice, you can still outgrind these decks. But Morit
I
Lash is still a problem, I think, especially out of green white depths. And now with the tower in play. And
Yeah, we very much have a situation here where Arn has presented lethal with the depths and the mana to activate it. So it's one of those things that, like, how much can an Amaru do for that, especially being tapped out now?
yeah, the tower is definitely, I think, the biggest problem for the deck. Like even your colored blocker, Baleful Strix, is still
An
something that's
artifact.
an artifact, yeah. So Marit
Yeah.
Lash gets through that.
So basically, the only answer is pretty much Brazen Borrower.
Yeah, and he's sitting on 1 map open. I don't think it looks good. Also, coming back to like what you mentioned with Moon Circuit Hacker, some lists have done something interesting just to maximize turn 2 ninjas. They cut ponders for Moon Circuit Hacker, basically, just to get more.
Oh,
Yeah, that's also what
I
Amaru was.
noticed that.
Amaru
I
is on
did
2
not know.
copies of ponder, which is unusual for a blue deck, but in a deck that draws as many cards as ninjas does, I think it's kind of
So,
useful.
so on that same subject, I notice here there's 3 days, and days is one of those hotly contested cards in ninjas because some lists will play, hey, a few copies, some lists won't. What's your opinion on it in this one, especially since we saw Amaru fetch for a swamp turn 1?
The one big difference compared to Delver is that Daze is not your turn 1 play. It's not you play turn 1 threat and you protect it with Daze. You protect your turn 2 ninja with Daze. That's what it's for. You're on the play,
Okay.
ninjutsu
Okay.
it in, your opponent tries to swords it, and then you Daze. So that's also why you're not on the full playset, and usually 2 to 3 copies depending on how aggressive you are, and maybe with more creatures you're more incentivized to play 3 copies of Daze. In the meantime, yeah, as we predicted, Marit Lash just gets there.
Yeah, and exactly. It's one of those things that Amaru. I agree with Malfi on this. The clock, the initial clock for ninjas, if you're disrupted in any way, i.e., your Yuriko, your ninja enabler dying, stuff like that, it does very quickly shut the door back on you.
Mhm.
So the fact that Arn was able to comfortably go remove your thing, play 2 to 3 more land drops, and then make Marilage was just so much more of an advantage than Amaru could actually come back from, because it's also not a wasteland deck.
Yeah.
This
Um,
is, yeah, it needs every one of your colors at all time because we have such color requirements like blue blue, blue black, blue blue, black black.
yeah, for sure. Um, so if you again look into the sideboard, there's actually a couple of really interesting cards. Like Back to Basics is the obvious one on
Mm-hmm.
Amaru's side to bring in to just stop everything from untapping that Arne does. But there's Blast, Prismatic Ending, and Boseiju that can still deal with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think the really interesting inclusion is Ashiok Dream Render. Stopping green red depths from searching their library is just such a blowout. They have the Reclaimers, the Knights, the Crop Rotation, Flagstones, just so many cards, and Greens and Zenith. There's just
Oh
so many
yeah,
that search your library and fetch lands, obviously.
I have
Um,
been a huge proponent of Ashiok Dream Render since it came out. I was sideboarding it in my Nick Fit deck back in the day. I loved it. The combination of graveyard hate plus the hating on searching. It's a very flexible sideboard card, and in this sort of situation, it's a pretty good card. My only issue is most of the searching that Arn's going to be doing is being turn 1, turn 2, or can be done in response to it coming down on turn 3, since it's not like a Dark Ritual Slam on turn 1 type deck.
I guess the way you have to draw it up, if you have Ashiok in your opening hand, you want some removal, so your opponent plays turn 1 Reclaim and you can actually kill it.
Yeah.
And then the game looks different for sure. Then there's maybe one crop rotation coming on turn 2, but not more. And casting crop rotation in the potential force is also a blowout. Like if
Yeah.
you crop rotate, your opponent forces it and then casts Ashiok. I think
Yeah.
I would have a hard time coming back from that
I
if
agree.
Ashiok sticks around.
There's a lot of just dead cards there. And Dennis, to answer your question, how do they beat it? They turn it to Maverick, because that's what this deck also is. This deck is basically just Maverick, where you can just see just like 3/4s and larger turning sideways, because Elvish Reclaimer and Neither Reliquary are still just just really badass beaters.
The thing is that the Maverick plan is not very good against ninjas. I've played against, especially Arne. When he played ninjas, I don't think he ever won against me when I was playing ninjas and he was playing Maverick, because the threats of Maverick, just like the way Maverick threats play out, just don't line up well against what ninjas does. Like you have these unblockable
True.
creatures that you have a hard time dealing with. Maybe endurance changes that up a bit, that you can block Onifablas actually. But yeah, in general, I think the Maverick plan is hard to punch through against ninjas, especially
Yeah,
against all the card advantage they produce.
yeah, you're not wrong. If you've never seen because remember, Yuriko and Ingenious Infiltrator all trigger off of each ninja that deals damage. So just like, cool, I'm just gonna double Ancestral Recall, and 3 of them I'm going to reveal, and you're gonna take damage edge off of them. So it's pretty busted. Ooh, Yavin Maya into Elvish Reclaimer. I think that's like probably one of the better starts Arn could be on right now.
Yeah, for sure. Um, about the like turning Maverick things sideways. One of the big problems is that basically Retrofit of Foundry turns your bad attackers into good blockers and attackers, turning them into powerful constructs. And they often like they're bigger than Endurance, they're bigger than a pumped Reclaimer, and also they are yeah, just able to start trading with Knights, for example. Or Strixes are able to trade with Knights. And here we see exactly what we've been talking about, like getting Fatal Push on the turn 1 Reclaimer. Um, I think is an important one. And let's see if the way Amaru fetched, I think he's been fetching Underground Sea before, because Arne will probably side out Wastelands, some number of Wastelands against
Yeah,
Amaru.
I
So he's been
agree.
fetching Underground Sea probably on purpose, just saying, oh, yeah, I don't care about you wasting me, or like it's so unlikely
Ooh.
that you actually do that.
Amaru's going straight aggro. Oh, ho, ho. Amaru just got so punished. Oh, Ripperonis did not play around the Force of Vigor. So Amaru transformed the what's it called? Ingenious Infiltrator, changing Outcast. It is a Thopter, so you can turn
Yeah,
it into the construct, turn it into the 4/4 construct, and then on end step as well. Arn, hold on. Was that on Arn's end step, or was it on Amaru's end step?
I think Amaru's upkeep.
Oh,
Yeah, it must have
no.
been on Amaru's upkeep. Just do it so your opponent can't draw into Force of Will.
Okay,
And
yeah. Hold on. Oh,
missing
okay.
land drops as well.
Okay, so it was on Amaru's upkeep. Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
thank you, Prez, for answering that. Once again, thank you to the wonderful mod team who honestly does such a good job of putting this whole thing together. I honestly couldn't imagine this server without all of you guys. You're all the best. Thank you all for what you do. Um, like it, this server is the reason where it is now is because of the hard work from our mod team and our wonderful community. So thank you all.
yeah. Definitely shout outs to our fantastic players. I've had so many great interactions, made friends through the server. I've met a bunch of people in real life as well. and become
Yeah.
friends with them.
Our German community is so dope. Like the fact that our German community has like all found each other through the server is so much fun. I love it. I need to go out sometime to Germany and see you all.
See you in Italy at some point, I guess.
Oh, 100%. If I could travel for a Bologna tournament or like Four Seasons, oh, that'd be so much fun. Okay, we are seeing the Ingenious Infiltrator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Someone, where's Bear? Bear, tell me what basics those are, because those are pretty.
They're Onslaught,
Those are Onslaught as well.
the islands.
The islands, yeah,
Yeah.
the islands. That's what I'm looking for.
And yeah, swords on the Ingenious Infiltrator. Denying the draw, but like bouncing Strix and replaying Strix, like if you go for a long game,
Oh yeah,
still a valid thing. And also, notably, Arne here playing around back to basics, but tapping the planes for green thanks to Yavimaya. Especially with him still being only on 2 lands. Like, he's a got a land based strategy. Oh, and here's the Ashiok.
Okay. So
It's
this is
not
what we were
protected.
talking about.
Yeah, it's not protected, but at the same time, Reclaimer can only attack it for 1. I think, yeah, there's also no reason to downtick here. Like, there's nothing in the graveyard you want to exile. Reclaimer,
Yeah,
Endurance, and Swords.
yeah, I agree. Oh, we do have a snuff out though. We forgot about snuff out.
Ooh, yeah. We've also been talking about that, like random Mykidian Masks cards becoming super expensive, especially if they foil. These are like Japanese foil snuff
I
outs.
own 2 foil snuff outs from Acadian Mask, and they were a pretty penny.
Yeah.
I will say I do love it though. Arcadian Mask, like it's got those random foils that are like the brainstorm one. Oof, ooh, too pretty, too pretty. Arcadian
Yeah.
Mask has just high quality foils.
Um,
Uh, so
okay, so there's the downtick. Yeah, now that Reclaimer is gone, you definitely feel free to downtick there.
yeah, definitely. Just get rid of the lands in there is so big. There's a reason why we wanted to get rid of the lands because of the fact that night.
Yeah. Also notably the Mox Diamond, like probably the Windswept Thief was the draw for the turn, so Anna had the Mox Diamond in hand and is playing the Mox over the Windswept Thief to continue like get access to all your 3 colors, especially the blasts. Oh, and another snuff out.
Yeah, just taking a casual 8 damage to get rid of those. Yeah, understandable. So top
Yeah.
4, what are we seeing here? The
And again down
land.
ticking Ashiok. I
Looks
think
like a
that the reason for downticking Ashiok is also that you can. Oh, there's the Tower of the Magistrate. That's another big one. And
that
once
was
it's
the Tower
reset.
of Yeah, is a jury
Yeah,
step and a Tower of the Magistrate. Yeah, I like down ticking
and
here.
and the plateau. So also it limits the number of red sources as well.
So okay, ninjas layering with me. If you attack and during declare attack, where do you want to maze of it? Basically, the attacker.
Maze of basically you just don't want to maze because if you maze and you get ninja, then it's really awkward. Um, yeah, now it's exactly that is happening. Is it? Yeah. No, it's hardcast Yuriko.
It's hard
Interesting.
cast Yuriko.
Yeah.
Green Suns, Thespian Stage, Night Crop Rotation. So the Green Suns and Crop Rotation were dead anyways because of the Ashiok, but
Yeah.
I
That's
do,
also 2 of the knights. 2 of the knights are gone. So
yeah,
there's still 2 left. Okay. Yeah.
2 left at the Knights. I think 2 or 3 more left of the Elvish Reclaimers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, there are endurances. Endurances can do a thing,
Yeah.
and we do have Yavimaya to cast an endurance. Okay, so we're gonna maze the Yuriko, take 1, or at least declare no blocks on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the trick. You gotta say I declare no blocks.
Yeah.
So I like keeping it on 2. I don't feel like there's a need to keep on down ticking. You're not trying to mill out or anything like that. I like keeping what's called Ashiok on 2 usually. What about you? Do you go for the full greed, or are you just gonna wait until there's more into the yard?
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to. Like with exciting Tower of Magistrate, you've gone and one C3 step, you've gone
Hold on,
past a bunch of important cards for sure.
hold on. Oh, he was searching his. Sorry, I thought Arda was searching his library. His exiled pile so big.
No, I was just down ticking for 3 mana on the Dark Depths. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
racing Baleful Strix, a single Baleful Strix, that's possible.
challenge me. I have been on that side of just like I'm going to try and race you with my 1/1 and the slow tick down. Ooh, what do we see here?
Now we
Ingenious
got to Ninjutsu
Infiltrator.
on the Strix, yeah. That also makes sense. Now you've got 2 triggers off of Ingenious Infiltrator, and you can recast the Strix if you find a black source to just draw 3 cards. Draw a card, flip in, changing outcast. And let's see, did he find another black source?
I don't think we found another black source.
Yeah.
Ooh, that feels a little bit bad
Having
because
that many cards in hand, as well as with 3 blue open, I think at basically all times. I think also he has, so he still has Brazen Borrower in hand, which is a lot stronger against Dark Depths if your opponent can't crop rotate into the Judy step.
yeah, exactly. Man, luckily the Ashiok prevents anything like that, but like at this point though, I feel like Amaru is missing out on a second black source to really operate efficiently.
Yeah, I mean he's still now generating a lot of advantage. Like he's probably going to discard next turn. The way this works.
Yeah.
I mean, he's drawing 2 cards off of the Ingenious Infiltrator or Yuriko again, then maybe casts the Strix, draws another one. So I feel like he's in really good shape. There's a
Okay, we
white
got a
coming.
swords
Yeah, for swords.
pitching Strix.
Yeah, force pitch Strix. Um, yeah, I think in this spot you just want to try to push through as
I
fast as
agree.
possible and yeah, get there, which is
Okay,
totally reasonable.
we do have double black now.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter which, like, you
Yeah,
mace Yuriko, you mace the Infiltrator because Yuriko just deals 1 natural damage to you.
yeah, exactly what I was about to say. Hey, when it comes to that, you always want to maze the 2 damage one, just because like Yuriko being a 1/3 is not a fast clock. It's the trigger that's the issue. Are we gonna see flipping over Force Will? Yeah. Oh, that smack of 5. Oh, ooh, that just really okay. Yep, and we got the best ninja in the deck. 2 of the best ninjas in the deck.
I think what he's missing is a Retrofitter Foundry to turn them into, like, changing Outcast. You can not only, it's not only a
Oh,
Thopter, so you can turn it into a 4/4, but you can also just turn it into a 1/1 flyer to block Morilage.
I disagree with you on that one. Oh yeah, okay. I see what you mean to block Merit Lodge on that. But
Yeah,
like right now, I just want the ninja trigger
yeah,
because
sure. Right now,
that that ninja trigger is worth so much more.
I mean, in this spot, you get 3 Yuriko triggers. It's Prismatic Ending on Yuriko, and
Yeah.
it's met by the Force that was just revealed. So,
Yep.
looking rough for Arne.
I I think we might see Amaru taking this because of the fact that like just the power of this Ashiok locking down the entire game. Okay. Yep, we got the retrofitter. Tick
Yeah,
down, eliminate any of your possibility threats. I think the last card available that might be worth anything is probably endurance.
yeah, but at this point, I mean, like, even if you block, you're at 8, Arne's at 8 life. Amaru is swinging with everything. He can still make a jump blocker with Retrofitter Foundry if he needs to.
So
Infiltrator gets spaced.
So we're at 5. We're gonna be at 5 life after this attack.
Yeah, and then
We
you
need
draw 3 cards, and then reveal 3 cards. So you have the chance to draw Brainstorm to set it up.
3 from back to basics. Oh, and a brazen borrower.
Yeah,
GG's.
that's
Amaru advancing.
yeah, just displaying the power of ninjas and how it can spiral out of control really quickly.
Yeah.
And also funny, kind of that Arne gets eliminated by the 2 sideboard cards that are specifically for him,
Mm-hmm.
being back to
Mm-hmm.
basics and Brazen Borrower.
Yep. Oh man, honestly, that Ashiok locked up the entire game. That was
Yeah,
probably a handful of like fetch lands, Green Sun Zenith, anything like that. Like, yeah, that was wild. Hey, Claristorix in the chat, the Ninja Man himself. So we do have coming into the semifinals for the lower bracket. We do have Amaru and Tensai. Hey, facing off the Jeskai Control versus Blue Black Ninjas matchup. This is gonna be interesting because the Jeskai does have a lot of answers. Of course, it's running the red and everything like that. But I do want to give a special shout out first to Arn for one, putting Tensai into the lower bracket was insane. That's already an accomplishment in itself. And then coming in, Arn, you put up a great fight. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us in the Invitational. And, we're so happy to see you up here. Thank you so much.
yeah,
So we're gonna have Amaru and Tensai coming up next, but I think we're gonna take a small break in between. And yeah, because we are gonna be changing up commentators. So Severin, anything else you want to say before we head out?
yeah. I think we're in for another blast. Ninjas against Jeskai is a really fun matchup, but I think Jeskai is favored now as a control deck. I've been talking about that before. Now we have Prismatic Ending for the Foundries. You have Meltdowns in the sideboard. You've got Supreme Verdict now in the main deck, and a lot more Pyroblasts, as well as
Yeah.
Hullbreacher and Narset to shut down draws off of Ingenious Infiltrator and Moonscircuit Hacker. Like if you attack with Moonscircuit Hacker and you connect and you have to draw a discard and instead you get Hullbreacher or something and you just have to discard, that's like a real blowout.
This is going to be a tight matchup. This is going to be the traditional tempo versus control matchup. But
Yeah.
we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back here in just a quick couple minutes.
See you soon.